It is a solid week for Switch eShop deals, and today going to be covering deals across the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. Also then, later in the video I've got two winners to announce for two $10 eShop gift cards, stick around for that. And then there are two more up for grabs to enter. Drop a comment down below and those winners I'll be announcing in next Saturday's video. Alright, so do me a favour then, subscribe. I'm gearing up for big things this year for both the Switch and Switch 2. Love to have you all along for that journey. You can expect, reviews, deals, news, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's dive in. Dreamscaper is 75% off and matching its lowest price. It's one I absolutely loved. Despite flying under the radar for many, it is a gem of an action roguelike. What really hooked me is how the game alternates between day and night cycles, each offering distinct gameplay experiences. So during the day, you'll explore the town of Red Haven, build relationships, unlock permanent upgrades. By night then, you dive into Cassidy's dreams, battling through ever-changing, surreal landscapes filled with challenges, enemies, and upgrades. The combat is really the highlight here. Each weapon class feels unique, whether you're tearing the ground beneath enemies or wielding unconventional tools like a yo-yo. The foes are creepy too. You face manifestations of Cassidy's negative emotions, including isolation and fear. Finally, there's been a recent 1.1 update which brought new items, attacks and locations. And yeah, it's clear this game is worth revisiting or discovering for the first time. I think the blend of storytelling and tight gameplay really made it stand out. Untitled Goose game is 50% off and matching its lowest price, and if you've somehow missed this gem and now's the time to fix that, this modern classic puts you in the role of a mischievous goose wreaking havoc in a small village, and it's every bit as hilarious as it sounds. The gameplay is simple but brilliant. You sneak, honk and prank your way through various sandbox style areas, stealing items and essentially causing chaos. The dedicated honk button is endlessly satisfying and the slapstick humour feels timeless. Then, recently, the addition of local co-op through a free update just takes it to another level. You and a friend can team up as two horrible geese, doubling the pranks, the honking and the laughs as you ruin the villagers' day together. So yeah, whether solo or with a partner, it's a game that is just a delight, offering pure chaotic fun from start to finish. Also, I will quickly note as well, surprisingly incredible soundtrack too. Chasm The Rift is 75% off and new at a low price, and if you're into retro boomer shooters, this one's going to be for you. Originally released in 1997, it's a forgotten gem of the genre, but well worth revisiting on the Switch. In fact, it's really easy to see why it has a cult following. And the game, it delivers brutal combat, unique and grotesque enemies, snappy and satisfying gameplay, and some really interesting weaponry like the blade gun, supposedly iconic, which lets you rip through enemies with gory precision. And the story then throws you into a chaotic world where time itself has been corrupted, creating horrifying mutations out of what were once normal creatures. As a commando, it's your job to of course take out these beasts and shut down the time channels causing the chaos. The gameplay, it feels classic but tight, with interconnected missions and a sense of horror that actually builds as you do progress. Add in then some quality of life updates like improved sound design and achievements, and yeah, I think it is a standout choice for fans of old school FPS games. Godstrike is 86% off, matching its lowest price, and I know this one got mixed reviews, but I personally enjoyed it. But fair warning, I think a big part of the reason for that as well is it is brutally difficult. Gameplay basically centers around boss rush mechanics similar to Fury, but I'd say even tougher. It is a punishing experience where each hit or use of abilities reduces your remaining combat time, so it adds this layer of kind of pressure to every encounter. Now that said, the satisfaction of finally beating a boss after countless attempts is what makes the genre so rewarding, and that does not change here. The story then, minimal, but I'd say at least intriguing. You play as Talal, the last of God's 7 masks, battling her siblings who seek to absorb her power. It is definitely a backdrop for the intense creative boss fights, which are the highlights, but I will say really good fun in my opinion, even if a few bosses occasionally feel, slightly unfair. This one then features 40 abilities to unlock that are customizable loadouts, meaning you can experiment, kind of find the synergies to match your playstyle. And yeah, I think overall, for those up for a challenge, this one's going to be a real good test of that skill. Ghostrunner Complete Edition is 50% off and matching its lowest price, so it's worth noting that picking up the base game and Project Hell expansion separately, during certain sales at least, might save you a few bucks. That said, this Complete Edition, if it's your thing, it includes a ton of cosmetic packs, but I've been actually playing this recently, so I wanted to give it a shout out because I think it's well worth revisiting, mainly because since launch, patches have improved performance and visuals, making it a really solid experience. Now, transparently, it is a tough game, but rewarding. It's a first-person hack-and-slash experience where one-hit kills force you to approach combat almost like a puzzle. Basically, how can I navigate these different enemies? And the story places you in a gritty cyberpunk world as a cybernetic assassin climbing Dharma Tower to take down the oppressive Keymaster. The gameplay, of course, fast-paced. It's blending parkour-style movement with precise combat. So yeah, expect to sprint, slide, and wall run through intricate environments while mastering the art of one-shot kills. The Project Hell expansion then lets you play as Hal, one of the game's bosses, introducing new levels, enemies, and bosses for, of course, even more challenge. It is topped off then with a synthwave soundtrack, and yeah, I'm just hoping now the sequel arrives on the Switch too. Braid Anniversary Edition is 66% off and matching its lowest price, and it's a must-play for puzzle platformer fans. It is a classic game reimagined with new visuals, updated sound effects, and some of the most in-depth developer commentary ever included in a game. Didn't make much noise upon re-release, but its brilliance honestly hasn't dimmed. You know, if you've never played it, this is the perfect time to add it to the library. Now, the story follows a man named Tim who's searching for an elusive princess, but as you progress, it becomes clear this tale is layered with memories, regrets, and deeper themes that linger long after those credits roll. Gameplay-wise, it's all about mastering time manipulation to solve platforming puzzles, and each world introduces unique mechanics that let you rewind, pause, or even create time clones, challenging you to think creatively to collect jigsaw puzzle pieces and advance that narrative. Now, the Anniversary Edition then enhances everything with beautiful repainted visuals, animated brushstrokes, and revamped sounds, breathing new life into its already incredible world. On top of that, includes over 12 hours of developer commentary, giving insight into its creation, and even how they redesigned some of the puzzles for a fresh twist. I think overall it's a masterclass in game design and a must-play for anyone who loves the genre. Demon Turf Bundle is 50% off, and these are two of the best platformers you can grab on the system. The first game is a more traditional 3D platformer, while the follow-up, Neon Splash, focuses on speedrunning, building kind of on the original mechanics in new and fast-paced ways. Both, though, are an absolute blast to play, and I love the style, 2D characters navigating kind of colourful, quirky 3D worlds. And Demon Turf, you play as Beebs, a spunky young demon aiming to take down turf leaders and claim the title of Demon Queen. Each turf, though, is packed with creative platforming challenges, environmental hazards, and enemies to conquer. What stands out to me, though, is the game's mechanics, like placing your own checkpoints, which make retrying tricky sections more manageable. The bundle's second game, then, Neon Splash, dials up the action with a vibrant, neon-drenched world where precision and speed are the keys to escape. It is built, this one, for quick, adrenaline-fueled platforming with surreal environments that push your skills to the limit. Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth, is 40% off and matching its lowest price, and it's one of the more underappreciated Metroidvanias on the system. And if you are a fan of Castlevania in particular, you'll feel right at home here. Tight controls, satisfying combat, and an incredibly designed world that is a joy to explore. What really stands out, though, is the precision of the gameplay, which is essential for handling the game's challenging enemies and boss battles. And the story then follows Deedlit, who awakens in a strange and unfamiliar place with no memory of how she got there. As she searches for these answers, then you'll actually uncover a tale that connects to the Record of Lodoss War universe. Now, I will say here, you don't need prior knowledge to enjoy it. I actually had none myself, and I absolutely love the game. Now, the gameplay then is classic Metroidvania. I think melee sword attacks for close range, a bow for long range. Swappable elemental spirits then, like Salamander, add a unique layer to the combat as well, letting you adapt to enemy weaknesses and environmental challenges. And you can even upgrade these spirits by defeating enemies, and that all ties then into healing. It's just a really satisfying kind of, sense of progression. CRYPT Custodian is 15% off and matching its lowest price, and I really enjoyed this one. You can check out my review link below. It's a unique blend of Zelda-style exploration and Metroidvania progression, but what really stands out is the charm of its world and the creativity in its environmental puzzles. The combat then is simple but satisfying, and while the game isn't particularly challenging, its 10-hour journey, really good fun. Now, the story centers on Pluto, a mischievous cat who dies and winds up in the Afterlife's palace. Now, after a disastrous meeting at the opening with Kendra, the Guardian, Pluto is banished and sentenced to an eternity of cleaning. So from here, you'll explore a interconnected world filled with ghosts, secrets, and dangers, all while plotting a way to sneak back into the palace. Gameplay then is top down, with your trusty broom serving as both a weapon and a tool for solving puzzles, and navigating the environment is particularly impressive. You'll be gaining abilities and upgrades, and yet opening up the new areas just feels really good. SuperHot is 60% off and matching its lowest price, and this is an absolute gem. I revisited it recently on VR, which is definitely the best way to play, but this Switch version still delivers an excellent experience. Concept is simple as well. It's a first-person shooter where time only moves when you do, turning every encounter into a mix of strategic planning and chaotic action. The minimalist art style is timeless. It looks especially sharp on the OLED screen, and gameplay-wise, it's really all about figuring out how to navigate rooms filled with enemies and bullets in slow motion. You'll basically be using things like fallen enemies' weapons to clear a path. Now, the Switch version then also includes Endless Mode, where you face waves of enemies, Challenge Mode with restrictions like bare hands or timed runs, and yeah, a ton of other extras. Iconoclasts is 75% off and matching its lowest price. It's an excellent choice for fans of platformers with a puzzle, a twist, and a touch of Metroidvania in its design. What hooked me most though was its visual style and the world it builds around the protagonist's journey. While the narrative isn't immediately deep as well, I thought it was kind of unique. It pulled me in basically because it's this blend of faith, purpose, and the challenge of helping others. Now you play as Robin, a mechanic in a world where practicing her craft without a license makes her a target. Basically, the planet is in chaos, and as penance rains down on those she loves, Robin's journey takes her through beautifully crafted environments packed with puzzles and a ton of enemies. The gameplay then also mixes in a nice amount of exploration, puzzles, as well as platforming. Then expect in this journey over 20 screen-filling boss battles to take on, and there's multiple difficulties, meaning you can basically play this one again and again. With the difficulty settings, you can even tweak them with a system built into the experience. Our two winners of the week then are on screen right now. Sorry, I can't comment on them. Actually recorded this video a little bit in advance. But congrats both. Email me for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance to win one of the two $10 eShop gift cards in next Saturday's video. The Long Dark then is 50% off, and while it did drop lower than this back in like 2022, this is the best price it's hit ever since then, and with all of the updates, I get it. I'd even say it's the best survival game on the Switch. The frozen world, just incredible. And I will admit here, the visuals at first are a little rough, just the opening a location, but once you actually get into the open world, it more than holds up. What makes it even better for newcomers though is the inclusion of a story mode, giving you a sense of forward progression. It just throws you into this kind of almost like barren landscape, and you're left to survive in the harsh wilderness. The story kind of helps you learn the ropes of what that involves. So you'll be scavenging for resources and managing your health, fending off predators, while battling the, of course, unforgiving cold. And the story mode then, Wintermute, weaves in survival gameplay with kind of narrative-driven exploration, so a very structured experience. If you want to dive deeper then, the Tales from the Far Territory DLC is also on sale. This expansion adds 6 additional DLC packs, which brings new regions, gameplay features, and updates to the game's survival mode. A warning here though, like if I remember right, only 4 of the 6 have dropped on Switch from this DLC, but there's plenty in this game to keep you busy until parts 5 and 6 do release. Breathedge then is our final game of the video. It's 70% off, matching its lowest price, and this is another one of my favourite survival games on the system, even if it stumbles in its later parts. And toward the end, basically what happens is it shifts from survival to more of a first-person shooter vibe, and yeah, it just doesn't quite stick the landing, basically. That said though, look, the first 3 or so acts, absolutely fantastic, with the standout being the experience of just floating through the debris of space after disaster. It's such a unique survival setting that I'd say it's worth it for that alone. The story then follows the man, a seemingly ordinary guy who's thrust into chaos after a space hearse wreck leaves the area filled with debris, coffins, and conspiracies. So yeah, survival's taking center stage here. You're scavenging for oxygen, crafting tools, uncovering the truth about what happened. But also what really impressed me was the humor throughout the game. It's just generally really sharp. So yeah, I think this is a good experience. I definitely recommend it. And that is the video done. What will you be adding to the library this week? Let me know in the comments. With that then, a shout out to the patrons and the channel members who go above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. That helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe, join us here for all of the Switch content you need, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers all.